Thank you, Madam Chair. H.R. 6276, the Use It Act of 2023, implements common sense and reasonable space occupancy standards to get federal employees back into the office, or the agency will have to lose that unnecessary, unneeded, unused space. As a recent Government Accountability Office review of how agencies were actually using their headquarters space here in Washington, D.C., found that 17 of 24 agencies the GAO reviewed used 25% or less of their space. 17 of 24, 25% or less of their space. One agency even admitted that if 100% of their employees showed up, every single one of them showed up, they would still only use 67% of their own building. Even more troubling is some agencies were using only 9%. They can't even make double digits of their space, 9%. And to be clear, we're not just paying for space to sit empty, but throughout the whole time we're paying for utilities and services such as heating, cooling, lighting, regular power, maintenance, security for the entire space that no one is in. Empty federal buildings are not only a drain to the federal taxpayer, but they also don't produce investments needed for local economies because nobody's in the building. There's nobody there to go out to lunch. The bottom line is agencies should bring federal workers back to the office. But the reality is underutilized space has been a chronic problem in federal real estate and is one reason federal property has been on the GAO's high-risk list since 2003. So this is 20 years on now that this problem has been identified and remains existing. In order to address the issue, H.R. 6276
Gentleman is recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. In order to address the issue, H.R. 6276 would use similar metrics to those used by the GAO and require federal agencies to report on their actual utilization rates. Set a target utilization of not less than 60%. Not less than 60, so it's very reasonable, and require the General Services Administration to report to Congress if any agency fails to meet that standard. Agencies will be given time to meet the 60% utilization standard, but if they fail to do so, they would have to lose or give up their excess space. Give up their excess space. Ultimately, the result of 6276 will benefit not just the federal taxpayer, but also allow unused federal buildings to be put to better use for the local communities. I urge support of this bill, and I reserve the balance.
Pennsylvania reserves. The gentleman from Washington.